On the occasion of Makar Sankranti, Indian Prime Minister Narendra
We're live from New Delhi watching the India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. Hamas airs video of Israeli hostages, says will disclose their fate as both sides mark 100 days of conflict. Israel cabinet set to vote on 2024 wartime budget, higher deficit. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visits Iran to meet his counterpart to hold discussions on bilateral, regional and global issues. In cricket, India beats Afghanistan by 6 wickets in Indore, clinched the series by 2-0-1. And in soccer, Real Madrid thrash old rivals Barcelona 4-1 to win Super Cup. President Florentino Perez says we played very well in both games. And on to details now. Israel-Hamas conflict marks 100 days on January 14th, with Hamas airing a video showing 3 Israeli hostages it is holding in Gaza, appealing on their government to stop the offensive and bring about their release. The 37-second video ended with an electronically generated caption, "Tomorrow we will inform you of their fate." Hamas said early on Sunday it had lost contact with some hostages amid Israeli shelling of Gaza, which it said may have killed them. Of some 240 people seized by Hamas in an October 7th attack that left over 1,200 dead, mostly civilians, and sparked the war, around half were released in a November truce. Israel says 132 remain in Gaza and that 25 of them have died in captivity. Well, thousands of Israelis continue to call for an immediate return of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza as they gathered in Tel Aviv on Sunday. Despite the pouring rain, families of hostages were joined by thousands in a 24-hour-long rally dubbed 100 Days of Hell that ended on Sunday night in a Tel Aviv plaza that became known as the Hostages Plaza. They urged Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to enter another truce or even call off the conflict. However, Netanyahu has vowed to fight on until Hamas is destroyed, which he argued would enable the hostages' release. Well, even when the conflict saw completion of 100 days, more fighting has been witnessed despite protests favoring peace. We've already seen U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken tourist the Middle East the 4th time recently since the conflict began. The efforts are on to pursue the cause of peace and other humanitarian efforts. Trent Murray has more from Tel Aviv.
Certainly what the IDF is saying is that it's continuing its operations on the ground in Gaza at the direction of the government, trying to achieve the war goals set by Benjamin Netanyahu. Those war goals, let's just remember, are to crush Hamas and to demilitarize the Gaza Strip. Now, we have seen reports of heavy combat on the ground between the IDF and Hamas militants. We've also heard from the Hamas-run health ministry that 125 Palestinians have been killed in the past 24 hours. So I think there is certainly no indication right now from the Israeli side that this military operation will stop anytime soon. In fact, what we heard overnight from Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, was that he has indicated to Cairo that the Israelis will soon begin a military operation to take control of the Rafah border crossing. Now, you need to remember that is the crossing that connects Gaza with Egypt. The Israelis say for their security, they now want to take control of that crucial border. We know that in Egypt, Hamas has been speaking via mediators there with an Israeli security delegation, which travelled there earlier this week. Both sides still appear quite far apart on any sort of agreement, but certainly for those families of the hostages, they're hoping those negotiations may yield some positive results. We also saw Qatar announce a deal that it struck to allow prescription medication to be given to the hostages via the Red Cross. We need to remember many of them being held by Hamas are quite old and elderly and have medical conditions, and the families families here have been very worried about the fact they're not getting their medicine. So seemingly a glimmer of hope that that medicine has been delivered in the past 48 hours. But aside from those two diplomatic negotiations, we're not seeing any sort of positive sign from Hamas or Tel Aviv that they're on the verge of any sort of humanitarian pause in the immediate term.
And shifting focus to Russia-Ukraine conflict, Kyiv has asked allies to speed up the supply of artillery ammunition as lack of shells has become a worry for Ukrainian soldiers fighting near Bakhmut. While drones are increasingly influential on the battlefield, artillery is a mainstay for both armies, and Ukraine is having to balance its use of various caliber shells based on the available supply. Moving on, China needs to be involved in talks to end the war with Russia. Ukraine's presidential chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, said after a meeting of national security advisors from around the world in Davos on the eve of a meeting of World Economic Forum. Yermak said nobody had asked him about any compromise over territory during Sunday's national security advisors meeting.
Unfortunately, in Malta and today here, there is no the representative of China. We invited, we will continue to invite. For us, important table, and we're looking that in the future China will be participated.
Also, China needs to be involved in efforts to end the war between Ukraine and Russia, Swiss Federal Councillor Ignacio Casas said after a meeting of national security advisors from around the world in Davos on Sunday. China was not represented at the gathering of national security advisors ahead of the World Economic Forum in Davos. The meeting of more than 80 officials is the fourth such gathering organized by Ukraine, which Casas said must pave the way to talks between Moscow and Kyiv on ending the war. Casas said that countries that had a dialogue with Russia, such as Brazil, India and South Africa, were involved in the discussions in Davos and could play an important role. The role of the Global South in Ukraine's peace formula talks has come into focus in Davos.
Sir, success can be measured in terms of the goals you are pursuing. If the goal you are pursuing is to create an international alliance that goes beyond Europe or beyond the West with Canada and the US, but that extends, for example, to the Global South, that aim has in part been reached with 83 nations. China is not included. It would have been an important participation, but we have Brazil, India, Saudi Arabia, representatives of the BRICS who are still in a dialogue with Russia.
Well, after months of campaigning, the Republican candidates vying to unseat President Joe Biden in November are facing the first formal test from voters. And Monday marks the first time Republicans in any state get to have their say, ahead of which hopefuls are busy making their final pitch to caucus goers in Iowa. Meanwhile, weather has proved to be a major obstacle for the candidates ahead of caucus night. William Dancelor reports from Iowa.
As you can probably see, it is freezing cold in Iowa. The temperature's down at over minus 20 degrees Celsius. However, that is not deterring people to come and listen to former President Donald Trump just behind me at Simpson's College, about an hour away from the state capitol in Des Moines. It's the final opportunity for the various Republican candidates to make their pitch to Iowans, for them to come out and caucus for them ahead of Monday's vote. The candidates for several days have been busy going all around the state to make that pitch to voters, why they should be their pick to be the Republican nominee to face off against Joe Biden in the presidential election later this year. The weather needs to be taken into serious consideration. Bitterly cold, some campaign events over recent days have been cancelled, but as we see here, there's still plenty of appetite for our Iowans to hear from the candidates who are making their final says. And the polls are very revealing as well. We've just had the release of a Des Moines Register NBC News poll that shows that Donald Trump here in the state has around a 48% lead compared to Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador, who holds around 20% of the polling, with Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, down at around 16%. However, of course, those are polls. the challengers to Donald Trump very much hoping that will change. Throughout this race, Donald Trump has really been acting almost like an incumbent. He hasn't been participating in the Republican debates. He's been out in his old, holding his own events. So this vote is really the first chance that voters will have the opportunity to see his name alongside other candidates to make that decision on who exactly they want to see challenge the Democrats in the presidential election. The message here is that despite the frigid temperatures, Iowans are committed they will turn out to the polls and canvass for their candidates on Monday. William Denslow in Iowa, reporting for DD India.
Well, moving on, Britain is going to commit 20,000 military personnel to serve across Europe in a major NATO exercise in the first half of this year. Britain will also commit warships and fighter jets. Its defense ministry said the deployment includes an aircraft carrier strike group and F-35B Lightning attack jets and surveillance planes, and 16,000 British Army troops who will be based in Eastern Europe from February to June. NATO's exercise Steadfast Defender 24 marks the Western Alliance's 75th year. Last week, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced that Britain will increase its support for Ukraine in the next financial year to $3.19 billion, an increase of £200 million on the previous 2 years. Well, heavy rains in Brazil's state of Rio de Janeiro this weekend have killed at least 11 people. The capital city's streets and homes were flooded by heavy rains, which brought down trees and caused landslides. The metro line was disrupted. Rio's mayor, Indore announced a state of emergency, and President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva's government offered federal support. A volcano erupted in southwest Iceland early on Sunday, engulfing building in flames. Fountains of molten rock and smoke spewed from fissures in the ground across a wide area stretching close to the town of Grindavik. An early evacuation was carried out for the second time since November amid a swarm of seismic activity in the region, leaving no lives in danger. Authorities built barriers of earth and rock in recent weeks to try to prevent lava from reaching Grindavik, some 40 kilometers southwest of the capital, Reykjavik, but the latest eruption have penetrated the town's defenses.
We had this eruption started just before 8 o'clock this morning. It was on the area where we have been expecting it to come, but unfortunately it went a little bit more south than we had hoped for. So it went inside the barriers that we have already built, and then also about 3-4 hours later we had another opening just outside the town of Grindavik.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. North Korea tests solid fuel hypersonic missile as the delegation led by Foreign Minister heads to Russia. South Korea, along with the US and Japan, run analysis. Ecuadorian authorities arrest suspects in police attack amid state of emergency. And amid avalanche, Colombia's President Petro To's mudslide zone announces it as an emergency zone.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
अयोध्या धाम की जय। This is Dashrath Mahal or Dashrath Palace, which is thought to have served the home of Lord Rama in his younger days and also served as a capital of King Dashrath.
राम राज्य पूर्णतः 22 जनवरी को वापस आ रहा है। हम लोगों में एकदम हर्ष उल्लास है। जय श्री राम। पूरी अयोध्या मानो दुल्हन की तरह सज गई है।
राम राज्य के दर्शन करने सब राज आएगा। ये पृथ्वी का ना राजा राम जी है।
अयोध्या में राम जी का भव्य मंदिर, दिव्य मंदिर बन रहा है। ये हमारे स्वाभिमान का प्रतीक है।
Iconic Ram Ki Pedi or the series of ghats on the bank of much revered river Saryu.
राम जी का राज्य था, राम जी का राज्य है, राम जी का राज्य रहेगा।
राम 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 राम।
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, Ecuador authorities have arrested 6 suspects, including a 17-year-old minor, after an explosive attack on Saturday against police facilities in Guayaquil. These detentions come as Ecuador's police and military aim to restore order inside the country's dangerous prisons, where dozens of staff were held hostage by inmates amid an uptick in violence. Since the state of emergency began, the law enforcement agencies have arrested more than 1,000 suspected criminals so far. In Guatemala, the inauguration ceremony of President-elect Bernardo Arévalo has been delayed, though Congress resumed its working. With no clarification or explanation, swearing in of new Congress members scheduled earlier still has not happened yet. The protests have erupted regarding the hold-up as supporters were left confused while they waited outside the Congress, pushed through barricades and threatened to storm Guatemala's Congress. The delay began after Guatemala's top court early on Sunday decided that Semilla party lawmakers would not take office affiliated with their party but as independents. The move blocks them from joining Congress board of directors and weakens the new president's ability to wield power. Arévalo, 65, won the August presidential runoff in a sweeping victory. He won the elections on promise to restore democracy and banish deep-rooted corruption in the most populous country in Central America. And Colombia's President Gustavo Petro visited the site of a deadly mudslide on Sunday, which left at least 33 people dead and 20 injured after heavy rains lashed northwest Colombia. Petro declared the Medellin-Quibdó road an emergency zone and announced a $128 million investment in the area.
La concentración de personas que hubo en la casa.
The concentration of people in the house has so far resulted in 33 victims, 10 unidentified. We have to work to find their families, who they were. There are 10 people who have not been found, which is why there is still operations. To all the families of the victims, I offer my sincere condolences.
Todavía hay actividades.
And German farmers gathered at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate on Sunday ahead of a large protest against subsidy cuts in the state by the coalition government. The German government plans to phase out agricultural subsidies as it scrambles to fix its finances. By early Sunday evening, Berlin police had already stopped allowing tractors onto the grounds because 95% of the available parking spaces were already occupied. Although the government has partially cancelled these, it also made clear Korea that it sees no further possibilities when it comes to the core demands of farmers, such as discounted diesel. German Finance Minister Christian Lindner is expected to speak to the farmers on Monday. Well, North Korea has once again showcased its missile might in the Korean peninsula. South Korean government on Sunday reported that the North has fired an unidentified ballistic missile towards the East Sea. Following the ballistic missile launch, Japanese Prime Minister's office dubbed it an emergency alert. Here's more.
North Korea once again fired an apparent intermediate-range missiles into the sea on Sunday as tensions run high after Pyongyang's recent launches of an intercontinental ballistic missile and its first military spy satellite. North Korea has stepped up pressure on South Korea in recent weeks, declaring Seoul the principal enemy. North has said that it will never reunite with the South and vowed to enhance its ability to deliver a nuclear strike on the US and American allies in the Pacific. Sunday's missiles launched from the area of Pyongyang around 2:55 p.m. flew about 1,000 kilometers off the country's east coast. The maximum altitude was at least 50 kilometers and the missiles appear to fall outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. South Korea's military says that Seoul has been running an analysis on the missile in coordination with the United States and Japan. Japan's defense ministry criticized the launch as a violation of United Nations resolutions. In November, North Korea said it successfully tested solid fuel engines designed for intermediate-range ballistic missiles. In December, it said it had tested its newest intercontinental ballistic missile to gauge the war readiness of its nuclear force against what it called mounting U.S. hostility as Washington and its allies began operating a real-time missile data sharing system. North Korean soldiers brought heavy weapons back to the demilitarized zone around the north-south border and restored a guard post that the two countries had demolished after Seoul suspended part of a 2018 military accord between the two Koreans in a protest over Pyongyang's launch of the spy satellite. North and South Korea remain technically at war because the 1950-1953 Korean War ended in an armistice rather than a peace treaty. Pyongyang's isolated government is forging close ties with Moscow. Moscow and Pyongyang have denied conducting any arms deals, but vowed last year to deepen military ties. The United States and its allies have condemned what they described as Russia's firing of North Korean missiles at Ukraine, with Washington calling it abhorrent and Seoul calling Ukraine's a test site for Pyongyang's nuclear-capable missiles. The U.S. State Department on Thursday imposed sanctions on 3 Russian entities and 1 individual involved in the transfer and testing of North Korea's ballistic missile for Russia's use against Ukraine. Syed Afsarul Hassan reporting for DD India.
Well, Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong is visiting the Middle East, using it to advocate for a pathway out of this conflict. Wong added that Australia was right to be in the Red Sea to ensure international borders and international law were observed. The Foreign Minister will travel to Jordan, Israel, the occupied Palestinian territories and the United Arab Emirates.
We all know that pathway can only be found by the parties to the conflict. I will be focusing on advocating Australia's position, our priority on international humanitarian assistance, our priority on international humanitarian law. I will be engaging with many parties in the region.
Well, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is on a two-day visit to Iran commencing on the 14th of January. Discussions with the Iranian counterpart include bilateral, regional and international matters. The meeting on 15th January focuses on the Red Sea security situation, gaining significance amid the Israel-Hamas conflict and Houthi threats. India closely monitors Red Sea events, intensifying maritime security operations. Jaishankar's recent phone call with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken underscores global apprehensions about the Red Sea situation. Meanwhile, Minister of State V. Muralidharan, who is on his two-day visit to the UAE, conducted a series of industrial visits in the Emirates of Ras Al Khaimah on Sunday. During the visit, the minister engaged with diverse businesses in Ras Al Khaimah, including visits to the plant of Dabur International, Helios Cosmetics and Perfumes Limited in Ashok Leyland. At the Ashok Leyland facility, the automotive company presented a comprehensive overview of its operations, spotlighting substantial growth from an initial capacity of 2,000 vehicles per annum to the current impressive capacity of 6,000 vehicles per annum. During the visit, Minister Muralidharan interacted with members of the Indian Relief Committee and Indian Business and Professional Council, actively addressing community grievances, and also attended the inaugural event of the Second International Ayush Conference, expressing enthusiasm for the conference's focal theme, non-communicable chronic diseases, prevention and management through Ayush. Minister Muralidharan also shared details of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's upcoming engagement, Ahlan Modi, with the Indian diaspora and the UAE on February 13th.
He is meeting the Indian diaspora. A program has been organized by the name of Ahlan Modi, Welcome Modi, which is in the Sheikh Zayed Sports Complex, Sports Stadium. This gains all the more important, especially since in the background of the improving relations, strengthening relations between UAE and India.
Also, in an exclusive conversation with DD India correspondent D.V. Vinod, the Indian minister said that the popularity of ancient Indian medical system, Ayurveda, is rising across the globe. The minister spoke about the importance of Second International Ayush Conference, which he had inaugurated on Sunday in Dubai. The minister also spoke about people-to-people ties between India and UAE.
We have with us Honorable Minister of State of External Affairs, V. Muralidharan, with us. He is here in Ras Al Khaimah, UAE, for a two-day trip. Good afternoon, sir. Yesterday you have inaugurated the Second International Ayush Conference. So what are the schemes and policies which the Government of India is setting in place for promotion of this system of medicine here in this part of the GCC?
It was a very delightful experience to inaugurate the Second Ayush International Conference in Dubai. This is especially important in the context of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's government making all efforts to promote Ayurveda and Indian system of medicines. So not only in India but across the world, Ayurveda is getting prominence, Ayurveda is getting attention, and the world is giving importance to the India's age-old system of health treatment, various aspects of the healing methods of India's science of healing. So I'm sure that the second Ayush conference, the discussions that are taking place during the last 3 days, it will be definitely make a big contribution for the improvement of the of Ayurveda and the interest of the people in this region in Ayurveda. This I must also say that the government of UAE has also given approval for the practice of Ayush, and more than 500 practitioners are there in UAE. So this conference, which saw a very large participation of more than 1,300 people, will definitely pave the way for improving of the situation for Ayush to spread across the region.
A few weeks back you were in Fujairah, now today you are in Ras Al Khaimah. So with relation to that, can you please give a roundup of your two-day visit?
See, the government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji gives a lot of attention and focus on developing and improving upon the relationship of the country with the Indian members of the Indian diaspora. So in that context, wherever as a minister in charge of community, Indian community, wherever I travel, I make it a point that I visit the community. So in UAE, I have been in visits going to other Emirates also other than Dubai or Abu Dhabi. So today I had the opportunity to visit Ras Al Khaimah, especially meet the members of the Indian community, the community leaders, social workers, all such people, as well as I had a visit to 3 major firms, their factories, where I interacted with the workers there. I went to the Ashok Leyland factory, I went to the Dabar factory, and also I had the opportunity to visit the Helios, the perfume manufacturers. So all these are in a way contributing to the improvement of relationship between India and UAE, and also contributing to the economic well-being of the Indian citizens.
Thank you so much.
Well, now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A white penguin with leucism was spotted chilling in the icy climate of the Chilean Antarctica in early January. The penguin, normally distinguished by its black and white feathers, was spotted in mostly white due to leucism, which is a genetic condition caused by a partial loss of pigmentation of the animal's fur while maintaining normal eye color. Dance of the People was the headliner. The special New Year program titled Happy New Year Multicolor 2024, produced by Vietnam Television. The performance featured a unique combination of traditional and contemporary elements. Dance of the People was actually the sophomore release of guitarist Dang Pham, who compiled 11 folk-inspired rock tracks in his album Jaishankar. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India Meteorological Department proudly celebrates 150 years of dedicated service to the nation. On the auspicious occasion of Indian festival, Makar Sankranti, devotees take a holy dip in river Ganga. And cold wave continues to grip northern India, also dense fog persists in national capital.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on. Makar Sankranti, an ancient Hindu festival, is being celebrated on Monday, marking the transition of sun into the zodiac sign of Capricorn, known as Makara in Sanskrit. The auspicious occasion, synonymous with harvest, cow-fang and cultural festivities, resonates with vibrant traditions that vary across India. The festival carries profound spiritual significance. The shift of the sun symbolizes a journey towards enlightenment and spiritual awakening. Devotees view this transition as an opportune moment to rid themselves of negativity, embracing positivity and divine blessings. Astronomically, the festival focuses on the movement of the sun from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere and the fact that post-Sankranti, the days finally get longer and the chilly winters are almost about to end. Well, on the auspicious occasion of Indian festival Makar Sankranti, devotees took a holy dip in River Ganga. Taking the dip in the holy River Ganga is considered sacred on this day. Makar Sankranti is a festival in which devotees make offerings to the deity Surya. The day marks the first day of the sun's transit, marking the end of the month with a winter solstice and the start of longer days. Well, also on the occasion of Makar Sankranti, Indian Prime Minister Modi performed cow service at his residence. In the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, lit up beautifully on the occasion of Indian festival Makar Sankranti. The temple also organizes a fair on the occasion of Makar Sankranti. Devotees from across the India participate in the 15-day-long annual fair. India is also celebrating the harvest season with festivities across the country. India's southern states are celebrating Pongal, a harvest festival that derives its name from the Tamil word meaning spilling over. The festivities begin with boiling the season's first rice with milk and jaggery. Bogi Pongal marks the beginning to 4-day-long festivities. Rituals that mark this occasion include bathing, processions, prayers at home and temples, elaborate feast, house decorations and worship of the sun god. And for more on this, we have Anbarasan joining us for more. Well, Anbarasan, Pongal is regarded as one of the most important festivals in South India, especially celebrated in Tamil Nadu. Can you highlight its significance?
The harvesting festival of Tamil Nadu, which is called Pongal, has been celebrated this January midweek for 3 days. This festival is significant to the farmers thanking to the nature, where they will be offering their yield to the god, whatever they got from the paddy, jaggery, whatever they are getting. And this festival has been celebrated across Tamil Nadu and also globe where Tamilians are there with a full joy and enthusiasm. And this festival significance, first day actually today they make in the morning, they wake up the morning and they make a pongal, which is called made of rice and jaggery and milk in a new part, and the family get together, they meet and they share, and it's next day it's a Matu Pongal, which is thanking to the cattle which they use in the field for the agriculture. And the next day it's a Kanum Pongal. The third day they will be going towards various tourist spots, and they spend time with their family. Right now we are at Chennai, where the people are with very much joy and celebrating the Pongal. Now we can ask the people what is their feel about this Pongal and right now.
Yeah, Namaskaram. This Makar Sankranti is about gratitude for what nourishes our life. Step outside into the air, feel and celebrate the air, water and food. So there is no better celebration than gratitude. for the celebration. So we all feel very enjoy because this 3 days we feel very great and enjoy with all the moments of this Pongal festival. So the day one we enjoy with by giving a lot of offerings to the sun, so that the sun always will be there, because sun is a source of all energy. So we enjoy with first days sun, celebrating offering to the sun. Second day for these cattles. So because without cattle or the basic things, will not do anything at all. So this is what we always used to give importance to the animals. That is playing a vital part in our life. Then third day it becomes this Kanam Pongal, where we go together along with the family and enjoy in various spots like beaches, everywhere, and various lot of places where people get together. And there's no specific year. We celebrate as a human being, not as a religion. This is what the concept of the Pongal. So we enjoy a lot, especially we here in Park as a team, and we celebrate this. This is third year we are celebrating here. As normally it starts around in the afternoon session, around 2 p.m. So that's great Pongal. It's wish to each and everybody to enjoy this Pongal with nature. This is what ultimately required. Nature is a source for our energy and body. Thank you. Wish you happy Pongal.
Happy Pongal.
Happy Pongal.
Yeah, we can get the enjoy and the enthusiasm from here. So this festival, which celebrate across the world and also in Tamil Nadu, and across country, also it's celebrated in various Makara Sankranti and various names in various states. So it celebrates get together, what they said, get together, meeting family and spending time with them, and also thanking the nature and also the cattle which they used in the agriculture. It's a kind of all together celebrating as a one and to thank the nature. That is what this Pongal festival.
All right, people totally excited there. Thank you so much, Anbarasan, for joining us. And moving on, India celebrates the harvesting festival Magh Bihu. It marks the end of the harvesting season. In northeastern India's Assam, the celebrations are in full swing. The festival Bihu is also known as Bhogali Bihu and Maghor Domahi. It is the first festival of the year that brings people of various communities together to enjoy the winter crops and pray for prosperity for the rest of the year. Magh Bihu is being celebrated all over the state. The festival is mostly about eating together and enjoying together. During Bihu, people have feast and light bonfires, starting a day before the main celebration. And India correspondent Subina Roy joins us from Dibrugarh, Assam. Subina, Bihu, as we know, is an auspicious festival celebrated in Assam in the month of January as it marks the end of the harvest season. Can you explain us the rituals that define Magh Bihu?
Bakshi, Assam, Bihu is the essence of Assam in the sense that Assam is a agrarian state. So most of its festivals are associated with the crop cycle. So there are majorly 3 Bihus in. The first is the Rongali Bihu, which means the sowing of the crop. So people make merriment, they dance, they enjoy when they sow the new crops. And this is celebrated in the month of April. Then comes which is celebrated for crop protection so that their crops are protected from diseases and they have a good harvest. And then finally comes the harvesting festival, that is when the crops are harvested and people prepare feast. And this is called the Magh Bihu. Also, it is a Bhogali Bihu, which means bhog, which means making enjoyment of the harvest that has come out. So on the eve of the Magh Bihu, what people do is they make a, which is a made of food around a bonfire, and then the whole community gathers, make merry, they make food together with the new crops, that the new rice that they have that has arrived.
Right.
And the women in households prepare various kinds of rice cakes, with the new rice that has come up, like til pitha.
All right. Thank you so much, Subina, for joining us and getting us that update. And moving on, cold wave conditions continue to grip northern India, including the national capital, New Delhi. The Indian Meteorological Department has forecast that cold to severe cold wave conditions are likely to continue over the plains of northwest India during the next 3 days, as minimum temperatures will be in the range of 3 to 7 degrees Celsius over most parts of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and Uttar Pradesh. On Sunday, the lowest minimum temperature of 2.5 degrees Celsius was reported at Ludhiana in Punjab. Dense to very dense fog conditions are also likely to continue over North India during the next 4 to 5 days. And India correspondent Dibyendu Mundal joins us for more on the weather update. Well, Dibyendu, what is the weather update? The school timings have been delayed considering the fog. Can you tell us more?
Well, good morning, Lepakshi. It's very cold outside in the national capital of Delhi. Since the last couple of days, we have been witnessing dense fog conditions across the Delhi NCR region, and not just Delhi NCR, but across the northern Indian plains. So this fog is also causing a lot of delay both in flights and trains. We have witnessed yesterday that more than 100 flights were either cancelled or diverted from the Delhi airport. There was chaos also reported from the Delhi airport due to this ongoing delays of the flight. Today morning, the Delhi airport also issued an advisory saying that, everyone who is traveling by air must consult with their airlines before they make the departure from their home, because there is a likelihood that their flights could be delayed. And we were going through the flight schedule of the Delhi airport, and what we have seen is that many flights since the early morning, in fact since late last night, are continuously being delayed. But however, this morning the situation seems to be little better than what it was yesterday, because the fog condition, despite being dense in the early hours of the morning, the fog is settling off, and the sun is rising in the sky, which will clear the fog out, and perhaps the operations of flight and train could be smoothened up. But also, let me give you an update on the weather. The weather condition, as you rightly said, will remain cold to very cold wave conditions across northern India, because of which many schools have delayed their timings, which were earlier supposed to operate from 7:30 a.m. will now be operating in the later part of the day, given that it's very chilly in the morning, and it will become difficult for children to go out to attend their classes early in the morning.
Right.
And the pollution level in Delhi had also peaked last evening, which has come down to unhealthy levels this morning.
All right, Dibyendu, you said we can still actually see a lot of fog behind you. It's almost 8:45 now. How is the air quality, and considering the GRAP 3 has again been invoked again?
Well, Lipakshi, that's right. The GRAP 3 was invoked last evening, in fact, last afternoon, keeping in mind the increasing pollution level in the Delhi NCR region. The pollution yesterday was about 400, which was in the severe category, which is the PM 2.5 reached up to 400, and when the severe category of pollution level hit the Delhi NCR region, and the GRAP 3 of the graded action plan, in fact, was put in place. But however, this morning, the pollution level have come down a bit, and the PM 2.5 is hovering somewhere around 250 to 300, which is still a very unhealthy level, and outdoor activities in the early morning are considered to not to be taken in such high level of pollution.
All right. Thank you so much, Dibyendu, for joining us and letting us know that update. And moving on, the Indian Meteorological Department is marking its 150th year of establishment. The celebration goes on along with the national level function on the 15th of January 2024. Here's a report from Tapas Bhattacharya on the journey of the IMD and what lies ahead.
2024 marks a significant milestone in the history of the India Meteorological Department, as it proudly celebrates 150 years of dedicated service to the nation. From its humble beginnings in 1875, headquartered in the eastern Indian city of Kolkata, to becoming one of the oldest scientific departments in India, IMD has come a long way. The year-long celebration kicks off with a national-level function on January 15, 2024 at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi, reflecting on the remarkable journey and achievements. From pioneering surface-based organization networks in 1875 to the launch of radar systems in 1947, IMD has consistently embraced innovation. With its headquarters now in Delhi, IMD operates hundreds of observation stations across India. The department plays a crucial role in forecasting, naming and issuing warnings for tropical cyclones in the northern Indian Ocean region. A true global player, IMD collaborates with international organizations providing cyclone forecasts to 13 countries and severe weather forecast guidelines to 9. In recent years, IMD has undergone a paradigm shift, achieving a massive increase in weather forecast accuracy in 2023. Leveraging technology, the department provides marine weather services, aviation services to over 100 airports, and experiments with AI for cutting-edge solutions. As a testament to its commitment, IMD is set to launch Mausam, a new app marking its 150th anniversary. This app aims to bring accurate forecasts to the fingertips of the public, emphasizing impact-based forecasting and disaster risk reduction. In the words of the Director General of the IMD, the journey of 150 years reflects not just our history, but a commitment to excellence, innovation, and global collaboration. We look forward to the future with a focus on leveraging technology for the benefit of our nation and the world.
IMD has moved from 1875 to 2023, and it's playing a pivotal role in taking this new India forward. With camera person Loknath, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for GD India from Delhi.
And moving on, Indian Army is celebrating the 76th Army Day with a grand parade in India's Uttar Pradesh's capital city, Lucknow. Artificial intelligence will be used to judge the best marching contingent, pipe band marching contingent with brass band, and Lieutenant Aishwarya AG is set to be the parade adjutant. The parade will witness 6 marching contingents, military band comprising of 5 regimental brass bands and 3 pipe bands. Well, for more on this, DD India correspondent Akshay Dongre joins us from Lucknow. Well, Akshay, the event is being conducted out of the national capital for the second time. Can you give us the details?
Well, absolutely. And this was the idea of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, of Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi, that these crucial events, especially that are linked to the defense forces, should not just be concentrated in the national capital. They should be taken out of the national capital as well, so that people get to know and they get a chance to participate in their heritage as far as these age-old traditions are concerned of the Indian Defense Forces. Right now we are in Lucknow, and for the first time ever in Lucknow, the Army Day parade is being celebrated, or rather is being carried out. This for the second time it's being held outside the national capital. The last time it was in Bengaluru, and this is the parade ground of the 11th Gorkha Regimental Center, where all of the contingents that have been selected for today's march will be carrying out their marches. These include Para Special Forces, they will have the Jat Regiment, they will have the Kumaon Regiment. All of these are highly decorated regiments, but besides the obvious that these soldiers will be parading here, they will be marching here on this ground, one thing that stands out as far as this year's Army Day celebrations are concerned is the fact that how the technology has, the usage of technology has been increased by the Indian Army or the Indian Defense Forces to tackle the fresh challenges that the forces are facing all across the world. That is the usage of artificial intelligence, usage of better and a slimmer army, more better equipped. So all of these will be displayed here at the 11th Gorkha Regimental Center here in Lucknow on the 76th Army Day, which is held every year to mark the handing over of the command of the Indian Army to General and later Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa. So we will all be seeing all the visuals when the Army Chief comes and he oversees the parade. So here in Lucknow at the 11th Gorkha Regimental Center ground, this magnificent parade will be carried out, and a lot of people expected to take part as far as the spectators are concerned from all over the state of Uttar Pradesh.
All right, Akshay, thank you so much for that update. We'll keep taking more updates from you throughout the day. And moving on, and we now get you some special stories from Ayodhya ahead of the grand opening of the Ram Temple on the 22nd of this month. United States, more than 200 Indian-American Tesla car owners held a unique musical show in a Maryland suburb of Washington, D.C. Event was organized to And moving on to cricket now, half-centuries from Yashasvi Jaiswal and Shivam Dube helped India beat Afghanistan by 6 wickets in the second T20 International in Indore. The men in blue have taken an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match series. Batting first, Afghanistan rode on Gulbuddin Naib's 57 of 35 balls before India applied the brakes. But a late assault from Karim Janat and Mujib-ur-Rahman, who scored a combined 41 of 19, lifted the visitors to 172. During the chase, Fazal Haq Farooqi bowled Rohit Sharma for a first ball duck. Rohit was out without scoring in the first T20 International as well, though Virat Kohli also looked to attack right away. He was a lot more successful than his captain, scoring 29 of 16 balls. Though the stars of the match were Jaiswal and Dube, Jaiswal reached his 50 of 27 balls and Dube of just 22, as both tried to send every possible ball to the boundary. As a result, India chased down their target of 173 in just 15.4 overs. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lepakshi Krana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.